Unite! Victory! SABER! Yeah, the next one we're reviewing is Transformers Victory. After the conclusion of the daring and unusual Super God Master Force, Victory brought back to the basics of Transformers, the basic story of a small group of Autobots and Decepticons fighting over energy on Earth. Like Master Force, the series takes a fresh start approach, focusing on a cast entirely different of entirely new characters, although the connections between the previous series are a lot more clearly drawn than they were between Master Force and the Headmasters, with repeated appearances, like mostly it was God the Genii. And early planning for Victory was done by Mushumi Kennedy, who had also been responsible for the Headmasters and Super God Master Force. His earliest treatment for the series, written in September 1988 and illustrated by Ban Magami, included versions of the characters who would soon be known as Starsaber and Deathsaurus. For an unknown reason, but in a rushed schedule, a diminishing budget perhaps caused by Victory's uncommonly well done animation or something else, Victory's 38-episode run featured a full 6 clip shows containing no new footage or story at all. As if that wasn't enough, a further 6 were released directly to video after the end of the series, bringing the total up to 44. I guess they wanted to have 44 episodes, but they figured if we could just squeeze in 6 of those episodes that have no meaning to the show, I guess that would work. Just cram a bunch of clips in there. We'll call it an episode. So, this series was a lot more balanced out than they were with Headmasters and Super God Master Force because, as we mentioned, the connections weren't that clear. In this series, they are perfectly clear because we get much more appearances from previous characters from previous shows to the new show, which is a lot more clear than Headmasters was. So let's talk about the story and see what is the story on Victory. It's the year 2000. In the year 2025, following the defeat of the Decepticons on Earth in the Master Force War, aka what happened in Super God Master Force, the villains have begun aggressively attacking other planets in the universe. To counter this threat, the Autobots join with many other civilizations and life forms, including humanity, to form the Galactic Peace Alliance, which strikes back against the Decepticons with its military Galactic Defense Force. Recently appointed Supreme Commander of the Autobots, Starsaber heads up the Sector 1 Defense Force, backed up by the by the Brainmasters and Multiforce, while God Genii takes charge of Sector 2. Seeking the energy necessary to free his massive planet-destroying fortress from imprisonment in the Dark Nebula, where Starsaber sealed it years ago, the Decepticons' new Emperor Destruction, Deathsaurus, attacks Earth with his Dino Force, prompting Starsaber and his team to set up resistance on the planet. Accompanying them is Jen, Starsaber's appointed human son, whose parents died in the Decepticon attack when he was just a baby, and Holly, head of the Micromaster rescue team, who soon arrived on Earth to be with the leader. The Decepticons, meanwhile, are progressively joined by more and more members of the elite Breast Force squad, including their leader, Leozak, who seeks to take leadership of the Decepticons from Deathsaurus, and the sneaky Hellbat, who's only looking out for himself. As you can see, it is a very, very deep plot. And for a series, it was very, very cool. It had a lot of great moments. There was a lot of suspenseful time. Sometimes there was a lot of action, sometimes a little bit of drama. But overall, it was a great series. It had a lot to go for, and it did a lot more than I was expecting. Further on, you know how the series goes. Like, Autobots defeat Decepticons, victory. Let's talk about some of the characters in the series. There is Starsaber, who is, toy-wise, one of the rarest toys to get in the Transformers lore. It's very, very hard to find a G1 Starsaber at a low price. On eBay, they would usually go for $500, usually in the form of Victory Saber. Deathsaurus is another rarity, mostly the Victory toys are the rarest toys to find, besides, you know, some other toys that I don't want to mention. Victory is probably one of the rarest to find in the Transformers lore. To find them is easy to find them on eBay, but they are incredibly expensive. For the Lio Kaiser pack, you know, with the breast force, that costs at least $700 in package, which is a very, very deep price. So it did get released to DVD. If you guys want to know, it released as a box set. It was in 2003. In the United States, we got it in 2012 from Shout Factory in the Japanese collection, which consisted of the Headmasters, Super God Master Force, and Victory, which were all part of the Japanese franchise. For what it was a very, very well thought out show. Very, very cool, and had a lot to go for as a series. It is a true Transformers show, and it was definitely a victory. So that's it for the Japanese franchise, I believe. Except there was one show that is part of the Japanese franchise that no one has mentioned in a long time, which I'm going to bring up. It was a very tragic show that didn't last for so long. It lasted one episode. It would have been a great series. Next episode, you will be entering the Transformer Zone.